All right, Dom, we're going a little review right now, throwback in time. Um, it's May 28th today, 2:38. Uh, we were just talking about the text you pulled up. That was back January 13th, sitting about 290, wanting to lose the weight. Um, I guess we can just start out with like kind of walk me through what was that, what was it like kind of after the season, just being whatever, 290, 295, and before you started with losing weight, how are you feeling?
Yeah, this has been a thing I've been thinking about for a while. My whole life I've kind of been a bigger dude. Um, played Division I football and just been an offensive lineman for 6 years. And I was just, those last few years I was kind of, I don't know. When I'm done, I want to lose the weight. And right after the season, that was like the first thing I started, and I kind of didn't know where to go with it. Um, I didn't know like how to start, and that's when I saw all of your posts and your videos that you were putting out, and I'm like, crap, I'm just gonna freaking DM Jack and see what he's got to say, and then
Yeah.
and then from there we just freaking made the plan, and it's been what, 4 months, 5 months.
Yeah, 4 or 5 months now, and it's been going well. You've been killing it. I mean, like down, I mean, 50 plus pounds now.
Yeah,
And how's that been? Because I know for like when I talk to guys, a lot of times one of the big concerns is like, dude, I don't know how I'm gonna like have to eat that much less and do that much cardio. Like, how's it been for you? I know we've made the plan and the goal has been to eat as much as possible while still losing weight, but how's it been dealing with reducing food and hunger?
yeah. Just it was tough because before I was so used to eating like just so ultra processed things. Just to keep the weight on, because I feel like naturally I'm not meant to have 290 pounds on my frame. Um, but with kind of like the foods that we ate, or like that you told me to eat, it kind of helped me stay more full.
Yep.
Uh, even eating, we were starting off with like about 3,000, right? And I was probably eating 5,000 before that.
Yeah.
Just ripping like steaks and chicken, and potatoes were a big one for me to start out because they were just so satiating. So just whole foods. But yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Um, no, that's been a huge thing. And then kind of another big thing that I always hear, and I'm sure guys have asked you, like, dude, you must be doing like 2 hours of cardio a day. Like, how's it been? I know for you, like
yeah,
max in a day, maybe 20, 30 minutes, but usually not much
yeah.
cardio at all. How's that been? Like, has that been
That's
a
the
surprise to you?
yeah. That's the crazy part is I would say maybe early on I did a little bit more cardio. Like I
Yep.
would hit 30 minutes on the stairmaster every other day or whatever. But I think walking throughout the day, it's tough if you have a job that you're very with a desk, like you got to sit all day.
Mhm.
But even just getting up a few times a day and just trying to walk as much as possible, try to get that 10,000 steps. And then you don't even really, early on, you don't even really need to do cardio if you hit 10,000 steps. So that was my big thing. And just the diet and lifting heavy, really, the results showed very fast with just doing that and not that much cardio.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I mean, even now, like you said, we started out, I think it was like 3,000 calories, and
Yeah.
Um, we're using kind of the carb cycling approach. I think throughout most of the time, it's been kind of what we've leaned on just to keep the metabolism high. But I mean, for most days of the week, you're eating 27, 2,800 calories, um, weighing, less than 240. Like,
Yeah.
how's that been feeling, not having to dramatically drop the calories, throughout the process?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, only dropped it a few hundred in the matter,
Yeah.
a 40-pound difference, which, has been nice to not. I still feel like throughout the day I'm eating and I'm not like, very sparse on calories, which is very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, like, speaking of that, like, walk me through kind of like the energy differences you feel, or just like day to day, like, from when you were, finishing football and playing football to now, um, cutting down and being under 240.
Yeah, I think just eating the whole foods has made a huge difference. Um, and like I've cut out all like the ultra refined stuff and the sugars and all that I've just cut out just from changing my diet is I just feel way better. Like I feel less inflamed. Like I feel like when I don't know how to describe it, but when I'm walking, like I'm just gliding, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just feel it just feels, and my energy levels are obviously higher too. And I think my sleep has been better, and that contributes to, everything.
Yeah, 100%. That's,
Yeah.
you get a 50-pound weight vest off you and you feel
Yeah,
pretty good.
exactly.
No, it was the same way. And I know a lot of other guys, it's like once you lose the first 10 to 20, you start to kind of build that momentum. Like, how was that in the beginning for you? I know for a lot of guys, it's like intimidating because, I know from you and myself, walk around at 290 to 300 for 6, 7 years. You're kind of just
Yeah.
like, dude, am I just like, how am I actually going to get this off of me? Like, how was that just mindset wise, like starting?
I think the first, like, I think I was so determined to get it off. I'm sure you were the same way for,
Yep.
like, we've been so big for so long that, like, I was like, this is going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's going to happen. And that's kind of where you came in with the how. But, um, but yeah, I don't know. It was the first few months were tough because you didn't really see the results. Maybe the first month or two, you didn't
Yep.
see the results, but you still had to be consistent with it. But then it'd be a month in, and you look in the mirror and be like, "Crap, I don't look any different." But then you look at a photo from a month prior or 2 months prior, and you're like, "I looked pretty big in that. I could definitely look a little like slimmer now." So that's kind of where I was at. So
Yeah, it's tough getting through like the mental block too of like seeing yourself as
yeah,
big because you were texting me. I remember you were probably like low 250s and you're like, dude, I don't even think I really look much different. And you send me like a picture. I'm like, dude, you look completely different.
yeah, yeah,
And then I was like, dude, I'm telling you, once you get below 250, like every 5 to 10 pounds is like big differences. And now we're approaching the 235 mark and like you're sending me like the check-in pictures are just like, okay, like big differences are starting to happen.
yeah.
And
Yeah, that is crazy too because like you said, under 250, like from 250 to what I am 238 now is a bigger difference almost than from 280 to 250. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, yeah, because you just like an entire body fat, 5 pounds isn't taking off a ton of the body fat percentage. But 5 pounds from 250 or 10 pounds, 250 to 240, now that's a bigger chunk of
yeah,
body fat percentage reduction. So that weight is you're losing more body fat as you continue to lose it. So or proportionate to your body, so you look
yeah,
leaner. Um, no, that makes sense, man. And I guess like another thing would be I know we've kind of switched the training around the past few weeks to more body weight, incorporating pull-ups, dips, more things that it's tougher to do when you're 290 to 300. How's that like been mentally being able to kind of, have more
yeah,
confidence in the gym doing that stuff?
yeah. I've definitely noticed, a lot of changes. For the past few months, we've been doing, more heavier weight or like with the chin ups and like the dips. It's all assisted. And then when
Yep.
you take that stuff out, I texted you the other day where
Yeah.
holy crap, dude, I could do 5 pull-ups like nothing. And
Yeah.
dips, I probably could have done 20.
Yeah.
But I was doing them assisted for the past 5 months, and you take that out, and I was like creaming them. So
Yep.
I don't know, it was pretty good. It's a good feeling.
100%, dude. That's why I was excited. I was like, all right, time to kind of switch this plan around, training wise, because now it's like you're at the body weight where you can do that
It
stuff and
actually,
do
yeah, a
more.
little bit more athletic.
Yeah, more like just a lot of lunges and things like that, where you're taxing less of the joints. And so no, that makes sense. And how is it like? I know for me, I didn't necessarily have that, but it's something I really try to do with other guys. Is like, how is it having somebody kind of there for you, especially in the first like 1 or 2 months when you're like, it's tough when you're like, man, it's not really working. I'm eating less. Like, screw it, this
Yeah,
isn't really working. Like, how is it? Was it helpful having kind of just like somebody to check in with at least
yeah,
who's been through it?
definitely. Especially because you did it yourself, and you went through a very similar like situation where
Yeah.
being a lineman or a bigger guy and slimming down in a relatively short period of time, where I could like ask you stuff, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I tried that," or "Oh yeah, I've been there. I know how it is or how it was for me." So just that advice really helped me out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I try to tell everybody. And like, I've tried about every diet you can for the weight loss, whether
Yeah,
it's the keto carnivore, 1 meal a day or fasting. And it's like, it all like can work for sure.
yeah,
But it's like, what's like to be the most sustainable? Because the end goal, like we talked about, was always getting you under 240. And it's like, okay, well, if we don't want to just balloon back up, we've got to make it like so when you come down, you can actually you can
Yeah,
keep it this way and be able to live life and be happy with it.
yeah.
Um,
I see myself eating, 4 steaks a day for the for the rest of my life, but
yeah,
to each their own for
yeah.
what they choose.
Shoot, if on a someday I'd like to do that, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm with you. Okay, no, that's helpful. And then I'm trying to think. Okay, so another thing I know that we've employed has been food tracking. For you, it's been utilizing tracking macros, the protein, the fats, the carbs, and then obviously the calories per meal. And at the end of the day, how's that been for you? I know in the past you've used MyFitnessPal, and this time we kind of incorporated that. How's it been for you tracking food and being able to know what you're eating?
I actually enjoy tracking my food. I got my weight scale, or my food scale, um, and I just use my fitness pal probably for the first 4 months, maybe just this past month. I've kind of leaned away from tracking like every single macro,
Hmm.
just because I'm so used to it now. Like I've kind of eaten the similar things where I know the nutrition facts for non-fat Greek yogurt every 170 grams is 90 calories or 100 calories. So I just kind of know that, and I kind of know the portioning of it, which helps me out if I'm not at home or if I don't have my scale with me, that I have that mental like note of it. But yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Because you build that skill, like just like in anything else, like you built that skill in football, you know how to, you know, what is it? You know how to snap it and do a kick set. Now you know how to like, you know how to track food, you know what the food is. So like now for the next, for 4 months it took you, and now you understand, okay, chicken's this many calories, this much protein, rice, Greek yogurt, whatever it may be, potatoes. And then from there on, like you can just look at a plate without needing to track anything, without needing
yeah,
to weigh it, and
that's like
you're within 90% of that every time.
yeah, and that's the thing too, especially with eating out. Like you go out and like, oh, I'm gonna have a salad with grilled chicken on it.
Yep.
There's the salad's like however many calories, and then
Yeah.
4 ounces of chicken or dressing on the side. You use those little tools to try to help you out. So
Yeah, for sure. And then what have been, that's another thing too. What have been some kind of some helpful things as you go out to eat or just, you're actively socially. So it's, what have been helpful to you that you've been able to continue to lose weight, but also still been able to go out to
yeah,
eat and do social activities?
I know a big thing for a lot of guys is drinking.
Hmm.
I didn't really. You try to limit your drinking as much as possible, but if you are going to drink, stick to clear like clear liquors, right, or very low calorie beers, and limit yourself as well. That's what I did for the past 5 months, and I thought that was very successful. Because I know a lot of guys that they just I don't know they drink so much and drink so much like beer, where I feel like that is a something that could be holding them back. Um, but in restaurants too, like yeah, like you said, getting stuff on the side, maybe asking the waitress just to have it grilled instead of fried, or don't use a lot of oil in it. Simple things like
Yep. Yeah, I had that last night. Like I was at a restaurant, and for my mom's birthday, and I got a steak, and it was like it comes with the garlic
yeah,
butter, and I was just
butter,
like, can
yeah,
I have the no garlic butter on top? Or if I'm getting mashed potatoes, and I know I've worked in restaurants, I know they're loaded with butter and everything, so
yeah,
I'm like, hey, can I just do double vegetable? But like you mentioned, like alcohol is a huge one, and that's definitely in the culture of football and athletics in general is like the drinking culture, the hanging out. Um, and it's still important, especially when you finish a sport and when you're losing weight, to still be involved with those people and be involved with the people, who support you, you support them, we care about each other. But then recognizing that the goals are different now. And like you mentioned, like when you're drinking heavily, of course, that's gonna have calories. But then we all know that when you're drinking a lot, you're also going to be eating more. Like you're that just the ability to adhere to a diet definitely diminishes, when you're just under the influence in general. So, um, of course, that's an impact. And then, like you mentioned, trying to stick with something lower calorie like a tequila or vodka, or a red wine. I think, a glass of red wine or something like that. But
if it could show just health benefits too, having a glass
yeah.
here and there.
Yeah, and just in moderation, like that. I think,
Yeah.
and that's really what, this what, and I'm going to ask you, but like that's really what weight loss comes down to is just moderation. Like it's not like you don't have to eat the food you don't enjoy. It's not like you gotta like never drink again, but it's just like, okay, we're bringing things down a notch. Like we don't need to
Yep.
overindulge. And like, how's that process been for you mentally, just to be able to
Yeah.
like moderate what you do, but still like do it?
I think in the beginning I was so set on losing weight and losing weight fast that I was super strict with myself.
Yep.
And then once I learned that everything in moderation um, is better than just being so strict with it, is where I made the most of my progress. Just from the mental part of, not being so hard on myself.
Exactly. Yeah, because like so many guys, like especially like you came in extremely motivated, and I know a lot of other people do too. They want to lose weight, they hit
Yeah.
that breaking point where either they finish a sport or maybe they're just like they see the three on a scale and they're usually in the 290s and they see the three, or maybe they see a certain number or a certain health metric, or their doctor tells them something, or somebody tells them, hey, you look bigger, whatever that kind of catalyst is, that rock bottom. Then they're like, man, I got to lock in. And for, 2 to 3 weeks, they're motivated as heck. And eventually that motivation kind of falls off. Like it's tough to be
Yeah.
motivated every day for 5 months, 6 months to lose the weight you need. But if you have that discipline of, okay, 90% of the food I eat is going to be whole food. I'm not going to just eat until I feel sick. Those are just some starting points that are really helpful um, to focus on, because it's like you mentioned, it's the motivation dies off. I'm in the middle of a cut right now too, and it's like so you just gotta like just keep following the plan every day, because it's tough to be fired up every single day in anything you do, um, especially
Something
something
else that
difficult.
sorry,
Yeah, you're good.
something else that I found useful was if I saw myself maybe steering away from the diet a little bit, or in the beginning especially, you just whatever is in your house or in your fridge or your cupboard, your pantry, and it doesn't adhere to what you're trying to do, I just got rid of it. Like I just took everything out that wasn't, the whole foods, and I just didn't have it in sight. And I think that helped me out a lot. Is to not even have the temptations there of, you know, a freaking pint of ice cream. Just not even have it be a possibility around me.
Yeah, and that's so important because if I see a pound of Ben and Jerry's, I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna have one
Yeah,
spoonful
and
and I'm
it's
gonna
never
go
one
away.
spoon. It's
And
never one spoonful.
And it's always when I finish the whole pint, I find the garbage can, I hide it like underneath and make sure nobody like realized I ate it. But I'm just like, dude, I've had that happen to me so many times. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, I thought about last night too, because we had the cake. We brought home like three
Oh
pieces of
yeah,
this peanut
yeah.
butter pie. And I was
Yep.
like, man, I'm just gonna like go before I go to bed. I have one piece. And I didn't, but I was just like, I knew I would have finished the whole thing. Woke up
Yep.
feeling sick, not been hungry in the morning, had a crappy workout, or maybe even skipped the workout. Like it just, and things like that, like the food snowballs. Like I like the overeating, at least for me, would sometimes cause like almost a depression, because like if I would binge, then the next morning, typically a lot of guys, you train in the morning before work, and then you're like, man, I'm not hungry, so I'm not gonna eat, but I'm probably not gonna go to work out because I'm slept in late, and then at the end of the day, you're hungry because you probably didn't eat all day, and then you binge again, and it just turns into that like cycle of
Or it's like I already screwed up, so let me just that
yeah.
doesn't matter anymore. I could just, screw it, I'm just gonna eat more.
Yep, 100%. That and like, yeah. I mean, we've both been there. It's not like
Yeah.
it's it's not an easy process, but it's just, it's that discipline, and then having
Yeah,
somebody like who's there for you. Like if you're having
definitely.
a craving or something, like, okay, and I've got the same thing. I've got a coach who helps me, and it's just like if I'm struggling with something, and I tell them, and then they're like, all right, man, you got it, like whatever, the person and they help you out. So.
Yep.
Okay. Another thing wanted to talk about, which was exciting, that you got to do recently, is getting some new clothes.
Mm,
Kind of what was that feeling like when you realized, first of all, things are starting to get loose, and then you go to shop and get to put on some new stuff. How's
yeah.
that felt?
Slowly, my underwear started to dip lower and lower around my
Yep.
waist, and
Yep.
eventually, everything was just hanging out. So I was like, all right, I gotta get new underwear first, and then my jeans like my belts, they started to
You gotta
not
poke
fit
holes in
there.
them.
Yeah, poking holes in them. But yeah, the other day I went to Marshalls and I got a new pair of pants and a new shirt. And I was like, I put these pants on. They were two sizes smaller than the ones I normally wear, like chinos.
Yep.
And I was like, holy crap, I look like with the shirt on, I was like, I look actually good. Like I'm like satisfied with what I look like in the mirror right now. Where like my whole life I've always been like the t-shirt guy, like
Dude, me too.
so that felt good, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still working towards to looking better.
Well, 100%. You're still, I mean, you're a motivated dude who's we're gonna get you there, but 238 from playing the 290, it's that's most people, man, don't get there. And that's like how's that felt just like walking around like day to day, like confidence wise and like wearing those clothes? Like how does that I don't know, how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels good. I obviously get the little compliments here and there for
Yeah.
people are like, wow, dude, like you actually like did you lose like you look like you lost weight. And I'm like, I did, I lost. They're like, you lost a lot. Like, yeah. But yeah, it feels good. Mostly for myself though, honestly,
Yeah.
where I'm just super proud of that. And I'm just excited to kind of live more healthy for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 100%. And then like health wise, how's that felt? I know we talked about like obviously blood pressure
yeah,
went down, but just like how's that felt just like for long-term health? Like you feel more confident in just how you're gonna feel in
yeah,
the future?
yeah, definitely. More confident with just my overall health. I just feel better too, which is a great metric of that.
Yeah.
More energy levels, feel a little bit more motivated to do stuff, whether it's just going outside or I've been playing pickleball recently,
Oh, let's
where
go.
otherwise, playing football probably had a big, part in it too. But I'd be like, "Ah, I don't want to do anything like right now. I just want to lay down and just rot. And now I almost have like I need to do something because I have so much. Like, I feel good and have so much energy. So
Yeah, you're like freaking juiced up.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a good feeling. And that's something too. It's I always have guys ask me about, how do I improve testosterone and they're losing weight and it's like, that's a big thing is once you're over to kind of from what I've seen, like 20% body fat, just the efficiency of testosterone production and what you can absorb, and the estrogen ratios tends to get a little skewed. So it's tough
yeah,
to have. And I know for me, I had low testosterone when I was finishing my career and then when I was losing weight and luckily been able to like quadruple that now. But that's something that's really um, that's a struggle for the motivation and how you feel. And um, no, kudos to you, man, for doing it. Because remember, like I want everyone watching, like remember Dom's the one who he did the work and he's the one who
yeah,
lost 50 plus pounds and really built that dedication and discipline that it's like now you can really put that to any part of life because you think about how many people are struggling with weight and
yeah.
you've learned that skill and you've learned how to push yourself just like you did from being a walk-on to a captain to a starter to all those things that you did. So it's just you're just stacking wins. So I'm just excited for you, man.
Well, Jack, I appreciate it.
Of course.
I think if you're a guy, looking to lose weight, you got to have a support system. For me, that was you, and for anybody else, it could be you as well.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, you've done a great job helping me throughout these 5 months. You've been kind of always there, dude. It's been awesome. And
Dude,
I'm looking forward to continuing this for a while. So it's gonna be
yeah,
good.
absolutely. We're going to be continuing to go and um now it's incorporating, which is fun. We get to, and I appreciate that, but we get to incorporate like some high days too, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
we get to work through some more carbs like cycling approach of really kind of boosting that metabolism up as you lose weight, which is cool. How's that felt kind of doing those high days and still losing weight, but eating up to close to 4,000
yeah, yeah.
calories on these days?
It's
And
definitely nice. Definitely nice to be able to kind of stuff my face a little bit with some good carbs. But
yeah, would you hit 700 carbs this week?
yeah, it was like an absurd amount of. I had like an absurd amount of rice and like pasta. It was awesome.
Let's go. Let's go.
Uh, know what we have to do? I think we got to do the. We should do the Discord.
Yeah, yeah, we've got to. I want to build that out. So guys for the future, build out a community where the guys who are losing weight and cutting down can all communicate together and um, talk to guys like Dom who've been through the
Yep,
process, know what you're in. Okay, you're in week 3 or week 4. Okay, yep, you're down 6, 7 pounds. Okay, yep, just you got to just keep sticking at it right now because
yep,
I've got guys right now, a lot of guys who are since I really ramped this up in the beginning of May, who are, between 5 to 10, maybe 6 to 12 pounds down. And it's like, all right, here's the real work really starts here.
Yep, definitely.
Um, so 100% having that community and having somebody who checks in on you daily and just making sure like things are going well. And um, that's what I enjoy is being there for all aspects of life. It's not just
Yep,
about like nutrition and training, but it's really just a personal connection. So I appreciate you reaching out to me back in mid-January and like I said to keep this rocking. And
sure.
yeah, and if anyone else is out there, struggling with weight, I know me and Dom have both been there. I was playing at like 305 and felt really crappy with a lot of injuries, and I was able to, by the guidance of others and learning from other resources and just practicing it myself, I was able to lose 80 pounds, and now I'm about 224, 225. I know you're 290 to 238. But just a few examples of people who are, we practice what we're preaching too. So that's another thing that I always want to emphasize. But if you're out there struggling and been thinking about losing weight for a while and like, man, I don't know what to do and um, not sure how to do it, or you've tried a few times before and you're looking for help, feel free to message me on Instagram, Jack_Clink, or on Twitter as well, Jack_Clink 79, and then we'll get it going. We'll get you helping, feeling good, feeling better in the clothes you wear, feeling like Dom said, you're gliding, walking around, and still be able to eat a lot of food, so you can enjoy life. So Dom, I appreciate you.
Yep,
Thanks for hopping
anytime.
on, and I'm sure people will be seeing more of you in the future.
Yes, sir. All right, Jack.
All right, appreciate it.